Welcome. I'm happy to see you again, even virtually. Today we have a new practice. We're going to focus today on connecting our throat energy center with the heart energy center. Why? Well, for the last few weeks, many of us have been in quarantine, and the way we communicate and who we communicate with has probably transformed. Many of us are alone, and it means a lot more of the internal voice, and some of us are in the same space with the same people, and that's also a challenge for how we communicate. So today we're going to focus on that. We're going to see and explore what it means to try to connect to the essence, to try and discern the truth from the noise. So I won't speak too much more. Today we have a flow of Vinyasa. It's going to be beginner plus intermediate as the last ones, about an hour. If you will, for today's practice, I would like you to have either a brick or a book if you have one, or a blanket, something that you can sit on at the beginning of the practice and help you to lift your hips. And the other thing that would be useful, if you have one, either a belt, a yoga belt, but if you don't have a yoga belt, any belt will do. Anything that you can use, we'll use it later to grab hold of our foot at some point as we go into the practice. So your two requisites for today. Good. So as always, we're going to begin our practice by centering. And I invite you to take whatever it is you've taken for putting under your hips, to put it underneath you, to lift the hips up, to let the knees softly fall to the ground. Find a position that is comfortable. And then check your hips. So we want to make sure our pelvis is neutral, it's not tilting forwards or back. The core is strong, the shoulders come down. And today we're going to bring our hand to our throat. Obviously not strangling, but comfortingly, finding a space on the throat where the hand would like to sit, where it can hold and feel the vibrations. And the other hand can either go on the other side of the throat, if that feels comfortable, or you can bring it underneath and to the heart center. And so once you've found the comfortable position for your hands, you can close your eyes and begin to center on the breath. Following each inhalation and exhalation. Seeing if you can softly feel the air as it travels through your throat on the way into the lungs and giving energy to the body. Soften through the muscles of the face, the jaw, the eyes. And if it's in your practice, I invite you to now use the Ujjayi breath. And if it's not in your practice and you'd like to try it, Ujjayi is a pranayama where we constrict very slightly the muscles at the back of our throat. And the sound comes out like the sound of the sea. So you can really hear your breath. It's a little bit like when you're trying to fog up glass in front of you or a mirror. That's the kind of action that needs to be in the throat. So try it. And for those of you already breathing Ujjayi, feel the strong vibration as the air now goes in through your throat and out. Allow all other thoughts to float away. the next exhalation, feel free to return to the natural breath. And you can softly release the hand that was holding the throat and bring both hands to press against each other at the chest, at the heart center. A moment at the beginning of our practice, if we like, to set an intention. As this practice will focus on the throat chakra, which is about communication, I invite you to be aware of the inner voice throughout your practice and to see if you can allow it to speak with loving kindness. Keeping your eyes closed if you wish, bringing now the hands up so that the fingers that are joint come under the chin and gently push the chin up. As we open the neck, preparing for our practice, pushing up as much as is comfortable. And as you exhale to release, slowly interlace the fingers of the hand. You can keep the eyes closed still or open them if you wish. Bringing now the hands behind the head to the low of the connection between the head and the neck. The low of the neck, as I like to call it. Bring the elbows together and softly bring them down. Keep the spine straight and bring the chin towards the chest. Be soft. And then as you inhale, come up. If you haven't, now is a good moment to open the eyes as we bring the arms down. Good. We're going to take out whatever it is we've been using to sit. We'll stay sitting just a moment longer. And use this moment to look into the side of the neck. So let's take the right hand over to the left ear. And if you will, bring the right ear down to the right shoulder. And to intensify the opening of the neck of the left side, make sure you bring the left arm down towards the floor so you feel the left shoulder pulling away from the left ear. And then inhale to come back up, release the right hand, and we go on the other side, taking the left hand up as you inhale and grabbing the right ear and then slowly pulling the right side of the head or the left ear towards the left shoulder. And again, if you wish to intensify, try to pull the right hand towards the floor, the right shoulder down. Feel free to close the eyes whenever you wish. Connect with yourself. And keep coming back to the breath. Inhaling to come up and to release. Now we're going to walk the hands back. I'm going to turn around so you can see me better. We're going to walk the hands back behind us. Let the fingers face forwards towards the legs. And I'd like to bring your shoulder blades together first. Bring the shoulders back, the chest up, and as you inhale, let the head drop. If you wish to go further, you can try to lift up the hips as well. And just be resting on the shins and the knees. Or you can stay with the hips and sit bones on the floor, whatever feels better for the beginning of your practice. And an exhalation, coming back down. Now keep the hands behind you as you unwrap the legs. We're going to bring the legs in front of us. Bring them onto the fingertips. Bring the knees together. And as you inhale, come up into a soft Navasana. Now here you can go as intense as you like. You can keep your hands holding and supporting you behind. You can keep the knees bent, or you can try to straighten the legs. And if that feels good and you know you can go further, feel free to bring up the arms. And we're going to hold this a little while longer. If the legs are shaking, it's okay. Hold and breathe. And then bend the legs Bring the feet to the ground. Bring the hands behind you again. Bring the legs towards the glutes so they're not too far away. You want to have stability in the feet. We're going to inhale and come into tabletop, lifting up the hips and letting again the neck drop. Try to bring your hips in line with your knees so that your hips aren't dropping down to the floor. Push through the hands, and if it feels good here, you can also swing a little bit forwards and backwards, warming up the knees and the wrists as well. And then softly bring the head back, bring the hips down. We're going to transition to all fours. You can cross the legs, bring the arms forward, and then unwrap to come back. We'll do cat-cow just to warm up the spine and neck even more before we begin to flow. Bringing the hands directly under the shoulders, the knees directly under our hips. As we inhale to take the tailbone up, the ribs down, the shoulders away from the ears, elbows towards the body and look up. And as we exhale to push into the ground, curl the spine underneath us and let the head drop. 2 more, and feel free to go at your own rhythm, at the rhythm of your own breathing. Inhale and open. And exhale to close. Last one. Inhaling, go as deep as you wish. Try for each one to go a little deeper. And exhale. Letting the head hang down. And inhaling to come back into tabletop and neutral. We're going to walk the hands forward. Prepare for our first down dog. So the hands are stable, the middle finger pointing forward, the fingers spread out, curling the toes underneath us. We're going to bring the glutes towards our heels, so we stretch out the body. If you need more space, take the legs back. So you bring your hips all the way down, your ribs all the way down to your quad muscles, to your thighs. Keep pushing into the ground, stretch out the spine. And then as you inhale, push up, but just through the legs. So we're going to extend the spine, keep the knees bent and keep the shins parallel to the ground, just a few moments. And then as we inhale, we're going to push up through strong quad muscles to extend the spine and to softly begin to bring the heels towards the floor. Now you might need to keep the knees a little bit bent. That's okay. And we're going to alternately bend one and the other leg to warm up those hamstrings. Paying attention the whole time to keeping our ribs and lower belly in. There's a tendency here to push the ribs back. Bring them back towards you. Keep the integrity of the spine. And we're going to softly transition into upward dog. We're going to inhale, coming forward to bring the hands, the shoulders over the hands, and go very softly to bring the hips down. So keep pushing into the ground and bring the hips towards the ground. Opening through the spine. Feel free to stay on the tippy toes with the feet. And then exhale. One more time into your down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then we're going to walk step by step, small steps, forward to the front of our mat. The feet can stay hip distance apart. Bring your weight towards your toes. Bend the knees slightly. Hold the elbows. Let the head be heavy. And again, rock side to side, if that feels good. And I'm going to bring our hands to the sides of our feet and softly unwind. Bend the knees even more, bring the hips under, curling the pelvis under, vertebra by vertebra to come all the way up. Good. We'll begin with some kind of combination of a classic sun salute and Anjaneyasana to begin our flow, to warm up our body even more, and then we'll slowly intensify. So we'll bring our feet together to start flowing. Heels and toes touching, checking that our pelvis is slightly tilted forwards so we feel all the way from our hips a strong line through to our feet. Shoulders down and away. Inhale, wide with the arms. Lengthen through and bring them together above the head, arching with me very slightly behind. As we exhale, folding at the hips to go forward into Uttanasana. Bend the knees gently if you need to. So we inhale, take the left leg behind all the way and bring the knee down, left knee. We're going to inhale, bring the torso up. Checking our alignment, that our foot hasn't wandered too far from under our knee. Checking that our pelvis is slightly tilted forward so we have strength again in the core and in the lower spine. Inhale to take the arms up and bring the hands together. We're going to reverse this namaste behind our heads. Namaskar, sorry. The mudra, the way we hold our hands, we're now holding them pressed against each other behind the head. The elbows have come up, and if we wish, we can lift the chest up even further, letting the head fall towards the hands. Staying here a few more breaths, feeling the hips pulling towards the ground, and exhaling to bring the hands down, releasing the pose. Inhale to lift up the left knee and take the right leg back into plank pose. Feeling the strength of the plank, pushing into the ground, broad through the shoulders. We're going to bring the knees down and the tops of our feet. Keeping the hips high, we're going to bring the chest and chin to the ground, Ashtangasana. Inhaling to bring the hips down, we slide forward into Cobra. Keeping the elbows into the body, don't let them swing out. Keep them in the body and bring the shoulders down. And as you exhale, push into the ground and into your down dog. Again, paying attention to keeping the thigh muscles, the quads strong. The shoulders open, rotating slightly to the external. Inhaling to look between the hands, we step forward. Right leg, then left. Bend the knees softly. Inhale and rise. Wide with the arms. Bring energy to the practice. Arms together and through the heart center. Good. Going to the other side now. Keeping again, pelvis gently tilted forward. Inhaling. Bringing the hands together. Go deeper if you wish into your back bend. Exhaling. Folding at the hips, hands to the ground. Uttanasana. Inhaling this time. Right leg goes behind. And the right knee gently to the floor. If it's not comfortable, you can bend the mat. Mine's pretty thick. You're gonna inhale. And bring the torso up. Again, checking the knee. Hasn't wandered too far in front of the foot. Checking the pelvis tilted gently forward so we feel strength in the lower spine and belly. Inhale. Arms come up. Hands come together and go behind the head. Good. And you can stay here or you can try to deepen the pose by bringing the head and chest up towards the ceiling. As we're still beginning the practice, go gently. See how far your body feels like going today. As we exhale to release the arms down to the ground. Inhale to lift up the right knee and take the left leg now back into plank. Keeping the belly in. Exhaling, bring the knees and tops of the feet to the ground. Hips stay up, bring the chest and chin to the ground. Elbows right next to the body. And then we push through to bring the chest and the hips to the ground. And then inhale to lift up into our cobra. And exhale into the down dog. Those of you who enjoyed Ujjayi at the beginning of the practice, feel free to bring it into your practice. Whatever feels good, maybe just while we're in down dog or maybe throughout the practice. So we inhale to look between the hands. This time the left leg comes forward first and the right. Bending the knees softly as we inhale to spread the arms wide. And behind. Exhale through the heart center. Close the eyes a moment and stay here. Maybe bring awareness if there is any inner dialogue, any voice, to what it's saying. And exhale to release the arms. We'll continue to flow like that. We're bringing one more similar to classic sun salute, but we'll intensify and bring slightly more to our asanas as we connect our breath and movement. Keeping the feet stable, pelvis tilted forward. Inhale. Bring the arms up, and this time see if you can go deeper. Chest to the ceiling. Exhale. Counter pose. Uttanasana. Inhale, we step back. This time with the left leg. Bring the knee down. Inhale to bring the torso up, and this time we're going to take the arms behind us and interlace them. When I interlace arms in this pose, I like to keep the forefinger out and the thumbs crossed over each other. It somehow helps me to pull the arms down and away. I'm going to invite you to bring the shoulder blades back, so don't keep the shoulders forward. Bring the shoulders back and bring the chest up. And only once you've done that, take the arm away and pointing towards the ground. Allow this alternative to Anjaneyasana to let you bring the hips even lower to the ground and the chest even higher to the ceiling. Exhale to release. We're going to go into a counter pose. Bringing the hands to the ground. I'm going to walk the hips back. So you'd like your left hip to be right above the left knee and the right hip in line. So bringing that right hip back into its socket. Flexing the right foot. You're going to feel now a pull underneath in our right hamstring. And what I'd like to invite you to do to begin with is pay attention to the spine. So it's the chest that's leading us forward. We're connecting our throat energy center, Vishuddha, with the heart. And we're bringing the heart forward as we fold down towards the right leg. And the hands can walk forward if that feels good. And bringing your heart forward. So trying to keep the spine straight, the shoulders back, letting yourself fall towards the right leg. And then inhaling to bring the right leg forward and the body forward. Staying here a moment, and the next inhalation, lifting up the left leg and the right joins. We're back in plank. Good. Okay, we're going to exhale again. Release the knees, tops of the feet to the ground. Going into our Ashtangasana again with a new twist. Exhaling, the chest and the chin come to the ground. Good. Now here, you can stay, or you can try to intensify by lifting up the right leg to the ceiling. And you have two options. You can bend the left knee and let the foot be held, or more intense, bring the leg up without any support, pointing the toe to the ceiling, trying to straighten the knee. And exhale to bring the right leg down. Inhale to pull through into cobra. Exhale to push back into down dog. Using your Adho Mukha Svanasana, your down dog, to rest and restore. Letting the neck be soft, let the head roll right and left just to check. It's also a moment to rest the throat. Pushing yourself back all the time. Inhaling to look between the hands. And we're going to walk the left foot forward between the hands and continue on the other side. Bringing the right knee down to the floor. Inhale and bring the torso up. Bringing the arms again behind, we interlace. Holding the fingers now, check the thumbs. If they're crossed, see if you can cross them the other way. It's going to feel a little bit, you'll know it's the other way because it'll feel less comfortable than what is automatic. Checking our alignment of the foot and the knee. Bringing first the shoulders back and then pulling away with the hands, away and down. And again, letting the hips sink and the chest come up, up, up. Breathing softly into the pose. Keeping awareness on that inner dialogue. How we communicate with ourselves. And exhaling to release. Hands to the ground as we walk back. Bringing now the right hip above the right knee. Straightening the left knee, flexing the left foot. And again, checking the left hip has gone back into left socket, so our hips want to be straight to the front of the mat and bringing the heart forward. So we want to make sure we try to avoid having too much of a curve in our spine as we fold over the left leg. Surrendering down towards the left shin, trying to bring our chin to the shin. That's how much we're extending through the spine. And inhaling to come back, bending the left knee, finding stability with the hands. And the next inhalation, right knee comes up, and the left back in plank. Holding plank a few extra moments, exhaling, knees down, tops of the feet, Ashtangasana again, chest and chin to the ground. And again, if you will, intensify this pose to inhale and bring the left leg up. Two options, bending the right knee and the right foot to hold the left knee, or letting the right foot be on the ground and the left up in the air. Trying to straighten the foot, knee pointing up as if somebody's pulling you up. Exhaling. Bringing the knee down, inhaling, up into Cobra. And this time, I'm going to exhale and take a rest. Open the knees wide, bring the feet together, sitting down onto the heels into Balasana, our Balasana. And if you'd like to rest the shoulders, the chest, the throat, let the hands softly fall around the legs rather than being forward. I'm going to take the hands in front now. And before we complete this sequence, we're going to inhale to come up. Bring the knees together so they're parallel. I'm going to melt into our mat. So you're going to walk the hands forward. Before you go further, I'd like you to check that your hips are staying square above your knees. Don't go too much forward. A little bit is okay. Walk the hands forward and then bring the chest and the chin to the ground as we melt, heart melting pose into our mat. And once you're here, see if you can walk a little bit forward. You'll feel this opening in the chest and under the arms. If it's not possible to keep the chin on the floor, feel free to bring the forehead down. And then inhale to come up. Bring the hands back where they need to be to push yourself back into your down dog. Stretch through the body. And close the flow. One foot, then the other. Inhaling, softly bending through the knees to come up. All the way up. And behind. And exhaling. Hands onto the heart. And closing the eyes a moment. You're going to release the hands as you exhale. And we prepare for our next flow. This is called the heart flow. It was shared to me by my wonderful teacher, Katie Appleton, and it's beautiful. So we're going to do the heart flow, and I've brought in some extra sanas as well. To do the heart flow, we're going to interlace our hands behind our back. Again, feel free to bring the forefinger forward if that feels comfortable. Bring the shoulders back, and inhale to lift the head and the heart, and let the hands pull you back. Keeping the pelvis tilted gently forward, not squeezing the glutes too much. And just letting yourself open through the chest. As you exhale, bending at the hips, keep the hands together. And bring the heart forward now. Bring the weight towards your toes. And let the hand fall behind you. Bringing yourself forward as the chin wants to reach towards the shins. If the bottom of the hands needs to open a little bit, that's fine. If you can, press the hands into each other all the way. And then softly bend the knees, let the arms fall behind you to unwind, to uninterlace, and then bring them to the ground and come into Utkatasana. Take a few strong breaths here, bringing the weight now to be firmly in the middle of the feet. Bringing your knees back so they pull away from the toes so you can see your toes. Keeping the lower spine and core strong. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale to fold into Uttanasana. Inhale to take the left leg behind and down onto the floor. This is where your strap or belt might come in handy if you need it, you'll see. We're going to inhale to bring the torso up. This time we're going to try to bend the knee. Now you might be able to reach it without your belt, which is great. I can, but if you can't, this is where you'll take your strap and bring it around your foot. Let it hold you. Good. So here's what you do with your strap if you need a strap. And you're going to let the foot pull you back and open the chest. If you don't need a strap, you just need to find your balance to hold the foot with both hands and to open through the chest. Let the foot pull you back. And you have to find this precarious balance so it doesn't pull you too far back. The right foot is holding you to the ground and opening up. Letting again the hips drop. As the rest of the body opens. And exhale. Whoa, there it is. That balance. I don't need this, but it was there to show you how to support the practice. We're going to inhale and come into plank. Exhale, Ashtangasana, a new variation. Feet on the ground, chest and chin. Okay, keep the chest and chin on the ground. Lift up the arms behind you, interlace and open. Keep breathing. This is strong on the throat. Exhale, release the arms. Bring the hands under the chest. Pull through. Bhujangasana or Cobra. And exhale into down dog. Keeping the heels slightly out. Keeping the ribs in. Letting the neck be soft now. We'll go to the other side immediately. Inhale and bring left leg between the hands. Right knee to the ground, right foot on the ground. Inhale, torso comes up. Checking our knee at the front, bending now the right foot. And seeing, again, whether we need our strap. And if not, holding with our hands. And again here, finding that balance, letting the foot pull back so it helps us open the chest without pulling us too far back so that we lose the balance. Keep breathing. Exhale, release the hands to the ground. Inhale, come into your plank. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. The last of our Ashtanga-asanas, you might be happy to know. Keeping again, chest and chin on the ground. Pulling the arms away. Up and away. Exhale. Hands pull through. Inhale. Cobra. Exhale. We're not going into down dog, but staying on our knees and resting again. A quick moment in Balasana. We're going to inhale and come up with the torso, sitting now on our heels to do another pranayama. We'll do 3 today, called the lion's breath. Different ways to do this. We'll do one of the simpler ones, which I find the easier. We're going to bring our hands, so keep the knees, start from the beginning. Keep the heels together, you're sitting on the heels, keeping the knees the distance of the mat. We're going to bring our hands down to the ground so that the fingers are facing towards your hips and the back of the hand is facing forward. Try to bring the hands down and check that your pelvis isn't too far out so that your chest isn't coming too far forward. You want to again slightly bring the lower belly in, the bandha, holding the shoulders back so the chest comes forward. This is the pose, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to 3 times inhale deeply, and as we exhale, stick our tongue out and point our focus to the point of the middle of our nose, so it looks a little bit like we're cross-eyed. And as you exhale, you're going to release anything you feel the need to release. So you're going to really exhale, sticking the tongue out and exhaling through the mouth. So you inhale and exhale. So feel this, let this be your release. Let this be a way to awaken this throat chakra. Let it be a way to get out anything that isn't your truth. So I'm going to bring the hands down, as I said. This is all just introduction. Shoulders back. And when we're ready together, we're going to inhale. Second round, inhale together. Third round, get out anything you don't win. Get out anything you no longer need and that no longer serves is where I was going with that. Inhale. And then just let your breathing be soft. Inhale to come back. Release the hands, just sit a moment. Hoping that your throat feels as cleansed as mine. We're going to come back into our down dog. Ready to close this heart flow. Inhaling. So step forward. And this time keeping the feet together. Knees bent. We're going to come straight into Utkatasana. Good. Keep the hands parallel. We're going to find balance on the right leg and inhale to step back with the left into lunge or crescent. We're going to bring the right hand behind us between the shoulder blades, and you can use your left arm to pull this right elbow further towards you, right into the middle, and then you can try to find your bind. Now again here, your strap or belt might come in handy if your hands aren't meeting. You can use it for extra support to walk your hands down the belt. Keeping looking forward, and if you wish, you can add a back bend and bring the gaze and the chest up. And then we exhale to release the arms. We're going to straighten the front leg. The back leg is going to bring the heel down. So it's 60 degrees. You might have to walk the foot in slightly, pushing the right knee back, but being aware we don't push it too far back so it doesn't strain the knee, and keep a micro bend. Interlacing the hands behind. This time we're going to pull them away. We're just going to keep them by the hips, resting on our glutes, and bringing the heart forward. Variation of the pyramid pose. Letting these arms fall just back now, not up, just away. Helping you to keep the spine straight. To keep the shoulders back and the chest forward. We stay parallel to the ground. As we exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, in plank. Exhale, this time chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we inhale to bring the left leg between the hands, keeping the right knee straight, right heel pulling back. Push through the left foot to help you bring the torso up. Keeping your belt closed if you feel you'll need it on this side. Inhale, bring the arms up. Bending now the left arm, so the left hand falls between the shoulder blades. Bringing the right arm to bring the left elbow into the middle, and wrapping now the right arm around, trying to grab the fingers, pushing the chest forward and the hips down, gaze up. Keeping the breath soft, keeping your inner voice loving and kind. However challenging this is. And exhale to release first through the arms, bringing the right heel to the ground. The heels are in line or almost in line. Straightening the left knee and paying attention to the knee. Interlacing the arms as we go forward. And stay parallel to the ground. We're not going to fold all the way. We're just going to stay parallel. I'd like you to keep the spine straight. Tailbone pulling back, head pulling forward, top of the head, whole torso extended. And we exhale to release the arms. Inhale, this time into plank. Exhaling to dolphin plank, bringing the elbows to the ground. Body stays parallel to the ground, heels pulling back. Strength in the abdomen. Just a few more moments as we exhale and bring the hips all the way down to the ground into Sphinx pose, keeping the elbows under the shoulders, pushing the chest forward and the shoulders down and away. It's a very active pose, make no mistake. Good, and then we're gonna bring the chest down a little bit, not done yet. Shoulders stay up, we're gonna interlace the arms and do a half shalabhasana. This time the feet stay on the ground, the arms pull up and away. Again, this forefinger helping us pull away. Keeping the feet on the ground now. And exhale to release. Bring the chin onto the ground. Let the shoulders rest and the arms be soft by the body. If you prefer, instead of the chin, you can bring a cheek to the ground for a moment. And then we're going to bring our hands underneath our hips. And they can either be hands or fists, whatever is more comfortable. You can keep the legs hip distance apart, or you can bring them together. That's a little bit more challenging, so maybe start with hip distance and see how that goes. Bring the head back so the chin is on the ground. Shoulders strong. You're going to inhale, shoulders stay on the ground. This time it's just the legs that come up. So pressing into the ground with the hands. You have balance is really on the hands more than on anything else. The hips are actually on the hands. And again, if you wish more of a challenge, bring the feet together or staying with them hip distance apart as you prefer. A few more breaths here. And we exhale to release. Take the hands out away from the hips. Bring the other cheek to the ground. Good. We now do the full pose. So bringing the chin back to the ground, interlacing the arms, cross the other way the arms. It feel a little strange. Cross the other way the thumbs. Bringing the feet. Now, I recommend to be hip distance apart. You're going to inhale, lift, shoulders and legs, arms pull away. Shalabhasana in this variation. And breathe here. If you really want more of a challenge, bring the feet together. I'm happy staying with them at hip distance. Keep your focus forward, or even on the tip of your nose if you prefer. And exhale. One more rest. These are intense poses on the spine, chest and shoulders. As we said, connecting the heart to the energy center in the throat. Okay, coming to one of our peak poses on the ground. Bending the knees, we're going to go into Dhanurasana, holding the feet from the outside edge or the ankles, whatever feels more comfortable. And we're going to inhale to lift, shoulders and feet. Feet pulling back, arms pulling away, finding again balance and strength here. Lifting up the feet, letting them pull you back. Keep breathing. And exhale to release. Softly into the ground. Pushing now the hands under the chest, opening the knees wide, transitioning into Balasana. We're going to stay on the ground now for what is the lunar part of our practice. Inhaling to bring the torso up, staying on the ground as I mentioned, to bring now the feet forward. Let the legs come out in front of you. We're going to go into Janushirshasana first. So, left leg forward, right leg bent at the knee. Make sure there's no tension in the knee. If you feel the need to put something, if there is any injury in the knee, if there's any pain, you can bring a cushion or your brick under the knee to support. Push the foot in to the thigh. Check the body is facing the left leg, flexing the left foot. Inhale, and take the arms up, and as we exhale, with the heart leading the way, folding forward. If you can, reach to hold with the right hand, the left wrist over the foot, and let that bring you forward even further. Surrendering in this pose. We're going to inhale to come up, and this time you're going to pull the right knee slightly away so there is space between the foot and the left thigh. We're going to take the right arm behind, it's in line with the right hip. We're going to inhale and bring the left foot to the ground, the right knee supporting us, left arm up and over, stargazer, bringing the ribs up, letting the head hang. Releasing here any tension, anything that still needs to leave, and exhaling to bring yourself back. Good. We're going to take the right leg now and extend it by the left. Preparing for Paschimottanasana. Let's take all the meat that is blocking the way to our sit bones away. So you really feel our sit bones on the ground, feet flexed, holding the elbows now. We're going to inhale and extend through the torso. So shivel, shivel, left and right side. Extend, and then again come forward with the heart, trying to keep the spine straight. It's from the hips where this forward bend is happening. And then release the hands and bring them wherever it's comfortable, if it's on your shins, feet, or over your feet. As you pull yourself forward in your forward fold in Paschimottanasana. Keeping the focus on that inner dialogue, on how we speak to ourselves. And then inhaling to come up and into our counter pose, bringing the hands behind. Now there's two options here. You can go into the full upward plank, Urdhva, or you can bend the knees if you feel that might be too much for you, and do the tabletop we did at the beginning of our practice. Here are the arms facing forward. We're going to inhale and bring the shoulders together, chest up. And if you're in the full pose, you're going to point the toes and then inhale to lift up the hips and let the head drop. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release softly the hips back to the ground. Doing this whole flow now to the other side, flexing the right foot, taking the left foot into the right thigh. Left knee on the ground, again using blanket or brick to support the knee, bringing the torso to face towards the right foot, inhaling, arms come up, and exhaling, folding forward and over the right leg, extending the spine, and surrendering. Inhaling, we come up, taking now the left foot softly a little bit away from the right knee, taking the left arm behind to support us. The right arm, you can use it to swing. So inhale and bring it up by your right ear to swing up. As you bring the hips up, right foot on the ground, right hand over, gazing up, opening through the chest. This should feel good. Let the neck drop if it needs to. And exhale to bring the arms down. Left leg by the right. We'll do this a little quicker now, going through these poses. Inhale, arms up. Exhaling to fold. Paschimottanasana, we hold 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale to come up and upward plank. Closing this sequence. Bring the chest up, shoulders back. Inhale, point the toes and lift up the hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hips and bend the knees. Open them hip distance. Take just a moment to grab hold of one arm and the other and let the neck drop. Moment's rest. We're going to go into Ustrasana now. One of the other peak poses that we've prepared for. Coming forward to bring yourself onto the knees. We're going to do 2 preparations and then go into the pose. To prepare, what I'd like to invite you to do is first keep the hips above the knees, pelvis again slightly tilted forward. I'd like you to bring your hands on to the ribs, somewhere onto the middle ribs, just under your chest. Keep the elbows back, and we'd like you to bring your awareness so that when we go into our camel pose or Ustrasana, we want to open the whole back. So we don't just put pressure on the lower spine, we'd like to open this middle spine as well. So that's why we're going to bring our hands onto our ribs. So we're going to inhale and bring the ribs up. Physically, bring up the ribs and extend through this middle spine. And just stay here a few breaths. If you'd like to drop the head, you can do that. Keep this open and then bring the shoulders back and away. And then exhale to come back. Now keep that idea of having this middle part of the chest and spine open. And we're going to prepare again. This time we're going to bring fists into the low of the back. Bring again the elbows together so that they're parallel behind, so not spacing out. Bring the shoulders together, shoulder blades together, shoulders back. And this time I'm going to push into the low of the back, but keep opening that middle spine as well as we prepare for Ustrasana. Not dropping the hands yet, just staying here. And inhale to come back. Now, whether you're an experienced practitioner or not, recommend that you first go in with the heels up, so you bend the toes underneath you, have extra height. So using both of these elements that we've just practiced, we're going to keep the hands now without fist, just on our hips. Bring the hips up, bring the ribs up, and then bring yourself towards your feet. If you can, you're touching the feet. If you go further, you can bring your hands all the way to the heels. Keep lifting the chest up. Pushing your hips forward and letting the head drop as much as you wish. Being very careful with the neck. You don't go too far. And then inhaling to come back. Both shoulders forward, good. Exhaling to sit on our heels. Counter pose, we're going to bring the top of our head down now. To go into our counter pose, you're going to bring the crown to the ground. And you can either stay here or you can hold your heels, and as you inhale, lift up the hips. And exhale to bring yourself back. Good. Okay, coming into our closing poses now. Bring the feet back in front of us, hips on the ground, knees bent, heels slightly out. Hands pulling towards the heels. I'm going to bring the heels out to the sides, toes pointing inwards. And go into Setup Bandhasana, bridge pose. Inhale, push the feet so the hips lift. The power is pushing through the feet to lift up the hips, and if you have space, you can interlace your hands and the arms all the way, pushing into the ground from the shoulders to the outside of the fingers. And exhaling to release, hips onto the ground. We're going to go into plow pose first. So we're going to bring the knees into the chest and then softly bring the legs over the head. Now if you can't reach the floor, that's okay. You can keep the knees slightly bent. If you can reach the floor, you're going to try to straighten the knees, interlace the arms again if there is space to do so. Bring the feet onto the tops of the feet. And taking a few deep breaths here, not moving your neck, just staying here softly. Okay, we're then going to bring ourselves slightly back so we can support the lower back. We're going to bring the knees in one by one to transition into the shoulder stand softly. So bring one leg up and then the other to find your own shoulder stand, hoping this is already in your practice. It's not a beginner's pose, and to be very careful with the neck. Taking at least 5 long breaths here. And then softly, and I mean this, bringing the legs back towards the chest and supporting the hips. So we don't drop down all the weight at once, but we come out gently, respecting the body and its movements. Bring the hands down, bring the hips down last. I'm going to try and find the momentum of bringing the legs down to help us come into the last pose, Matsyasana, keeping the hands under the glutes. As the legs come down to the ground, you push into the elbows and lift up the chest. Good. Keeping the hands to push the chest up and then let the head drop and find the crown of the head. And once you're there, you can either keep the hands to support you or you can pull out the elbows. I like to bring my hands behind me and to help me push up even further onto the crown, and then bring the hands back to heart center. Keeping the legs straight, toes softly pointing forward, letting the throat really open now. And as you exhale, bring the elbows down, push softly up to release the head very slowly, to bring your chin back towards the chest. We're going to go into our Shavasana now, opening the feet softly, outwards and to the side, hands pointing to the ceiling. Let your body sink into your mat. Let all the effort of today's practice softly fade away. Allow your breath to be as soft as possible. And release the muscles through the legs, the arms, the abdomen. Release your face and jaw. I may share with you a poem for the throat chakra. Listen with compassion. Hear the wisdom of your heart. Speak from that place. Listen to the voice of spirit. Hear the sounds of life. Speak from your highest truth. Your voice is unique. Be authentic. Be honest. Be true to yourself. And sing your heart's song. Coming slowly back into your body. Finding movement in your toes, in the fingertips, in the hands. Releasing your neck as you let your head drop from one side to the other. Inhaling to bring your knees up towards the chest and exhaling to drop yourself down into the fetal position onto the right side. We're going to inhale to push up through the left hand and come back into our easy sitting pose. Keeping your eyes closed a moment longer as we go into what is the final pranayama of this practice. I invite you to hear your own vibration. We're going to bring our hands to our ears, and you can either use your thumbs or your fingers to softly block the ears. Not yet though, keep listening for the instructions. Brahmani, a pranayama that is either known as the hummingbird or the bee's breath, to allow us to feel and hear our own vibration. We're going to do this 3 times. When you inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to close off the ears and exhale through the nose and a humming sound. It doesn't matter at which height or frequency. You do your own vibration. It's going to sound like this. So we're going to do it 3 times. Don't worry if anybody hears you in the house, or if you're alone, then go even louder. Take a deep breath in and out, and then inhale. Close the ears and exhale your humming sound. When you have completed 3 rounds, we're going to close this practice as we began. One hand on the throat, the other on our heart. Finding our inner truth. Finding a way to connect the heart and the throat. Communicating in loving kindness. Namaste.